Hi, it's Austin, and today on the Points Unknown channel we're going to be installing a ProTaper handlebar so that we can install the GPR steering stabilizer on my CRF 450. Let's get to it. So the first thing that we need to do is get the old handlebar off, the handlebar mounts, and the top of the triple clamp off, which is going to require taking the headlight plate off as well. So pretty much all this needs to come off. So various wrenches of various sizes, probably 10, 12 millimeter wrenches, sockets, everything else. Mindful of the light wiring, and yeah, all the stuff. We'll get to it. So everything came off pretty easily. Assortment of Allen keys, wrenches, Phillips head screwdriver. I did use the air compressor trick on the grips to pop those off. Just apply a little bit of air, get them to kind of inflate, slid right off, so not a problem there. And now to get these last pieces of controls off, we need to undo 4 bolts here, and then we'll work on taking the headlight off. To complete the transaction here with taking the rest of this off, I need to take off the 4 bolts from the triple clamps, which will essentially release the whole headlight assembly. So we'll get to that. Looks like some more 10 mil or maybe 8 mil bolts. So now we got everything mostly detached here. The next steps are to remove the or loosen the top clamp bolt and then remove it so that we can pull this whole triple clamp up, flip it over, and get at the bolts that are on the underside here to remove the handlebar clamps. So it's a 32 millimeter top clamp that's going to hold the wheel. Oh yeah, there we go. It's actually not too tight. And that took some force, but not as much as I was expecting. And then we'll get that off. And there's a washer under here. Now, as I understand it, this washer does not get reused. $17 millimeter.
Something bigger to hold on to that.
Okay. So I'm not sure if I was supposed to remove more stuff to get this thing more freedom. We've got the ignition here and everything that I'm not taking off, but it seems like this is working for my purposes. Hopefully it's not going to be too much of a mess when I put it back together. So I'm going to try and peel these cones away from the bottom. Maybe grab this flathead screwdriver, which should get in there. To, again, peel the cones away. The rubber dampeners, rather. You can see it coming. Come on, little guy. There it goes. Oh, it's getting stuck on the ignition. Maybe once that guy's mostly loose. Oh, yeah, there it goes. Yeah, there he is. And this guy comes out. And then the top one, and that comes out. So just we're removing those little cones, rubberized dampeners. So next, I think a few things that we can do simultaneously is get this frame mount over here on top of the steering column, and then put the new handlebar mounts up here. So that's what we'll do next. So the frame mount goes over this piece of the steering column. we'll put this part on over the top, and it's just machined perfectly to sit right on here. And it's got a little flange here to make it sit flush, so you know that it's perfect. Just push it down, and then it sits flush just like that. And it's good, but I'm going to clean this off just a little bit first before we finalize that in. So again, get this piece on, arm in the way, and get it lined flush with the top. And just really well done, and the flange just sits right there. Get everything nice and straight and good. And that should be good. And it needs to be lined up flush with the top. And they say you need to hit it with a hammer, but gosh, when I got it loosened up, it seems like it just goes right in. Get it flush with the top of the stem, and then that's flush there. And then you want it aligned center, which fortunately with the fuel tank right there, it's really easy to see where center is, which I think is right there. Jiggery Beth.
Swing it right. Yes, that looks good.
So the space in here is really tight. Fortunately, I had a small and rusty 5mm key that'll fit right in here. And then, especially if I just move the forks out of the way too, then it's easy to get in there. But otherwise, with the tools that I had, using the ratchet and such, that was not gonna work. Are we still centered? Looks pretty good. We're probably gonna need a similarly small-sized key, maybe a 3.
4 or a 3, yeah.
Probably a 3 to get into those set screws. But I'm gonna get this nice and tight. And next we need to put in the new handlebar clamp, which will sit just like this on it. So for installing the handlebar clamp, we're going to reuse the rubber mounts from the top, the OEM mounts coming on from the top. But on the bottom, we're going to use the GPR supplied mounts, bolts. They have a metal cone instead of the rubberized cone that we had before. And it just slides up through this. And then on the handlebar mount, it's threaded on the inside. And so with very nice cut threads. And so we'll put that on there. I'm going to get a little Loctite in there. So a healthy bit of Loctite on there. And this comes and just sits on the top. Yep, and that looks good. And then we're going to need a big key, it looks like. No, not 8. 10? Yes. 10 mil to tighten those cones on in. Alright, now that we've done that part, it's time to put this guy back on. Because I didn't take most of it off, hopefully it just slides back into position, but we shall see. It certainly could have been easier. In the photos they showed this all coming off, but besides unthreading just about everything, I'm not exactly sure how that would all work. So clearly that's not what I did. So far so good. Let's see here. Get this guy back on. So now we're going to install the GPR supplied nut onto the steering stem here. And it's this guy right here with a square cut out in the middle. Looks like it was water etched to cut out the center there. Pretty impressive. And that goes in like that.
Did you use your dab of blue Loctite?
I did not. With a dab of blue Loctite. Because the way this is, we'll put the blue Loctite, oops, in there. Get it all spread around. And then put that guy on. And it looks like this is, the opening on this looks like it's a 1/2 inch like you would see on a ratchet. Yep, exactly. So that's what that is. 1/2-inch little ratchet.
I wondered how you were going to torque it.
And so that wants to be torqued to
50
foot-pounds. So with this on here, I've got my 1/2-inch torque wrench with an extension on there because I'm not exactly sure how I would have done it without it. I guess I could have torqued this before I put this on, but then it would have been hard to get this on. So the order of that doesn't make sense. I think you have to do it this way. Beth, if you could grab the front wheel so I can torque it. That looks pretty good. Hopefully I don't have to take that out too often. All right. And from there, it's getting the handlebar back on. No.
Gotta put your
from there,
on.
It's putting the whole thing that we were doing. So the next step is to install our GPR steering dampener V5, the whole reason why we did all of this work. And there's a few things going on here. We've got to align this pin to this dampener. We've got to get this sleeve to just have it sit just perfectly aligned with the bottom of this as it sits in here. And so that's going to take a little bit of trial and error to get it just right. Now that we've got that aligned, the pin at the right height, which is very critical, we'll get some Loctite on these mounting bolts and get it screwed down. All right, and that is in there. Now I think we can put the handlebar back on.
I think you are correct.
So before we install the new handlebar, I did want to take a second just to talk about my handlebar selection. And as you can see, I went with the ProTaper Henry Reed handlebar, pretty much stock height and sweep. Well, I think that just about covers it. That is the install for the GPR steering stabilizer V5 and ProTaper inch and 1/8 handlebars on a Honda CRF 450L. Pretty straightforward, though a bit time consuming, and several parts to keep track of in terms of the order and configuration of all the different pieces that go back on the handlebar. But overall, straightforward installation of the steering stabilizer and a really slick design for the whole system. I can't wait to get out on the trail and try it out. Thank you for watching this Points Unknown video. If you like what you see, please hit the like button. We try to release content on a monthly basis, so if this is the kind of content that you like, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, if you have any questions about the install or anything else on my CRF 450, please feel free to leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching.